Thank you very much, Neil. Allow me to join the long and distinguished line of individuals who have welcomed you and congratulated you. I don't think we can actually welcome you and congratulate you too much, quite honestly, so I'm going to do it all over again, this time on behalf of the United States Department of State and the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs, which is the bureau in the State Department that works with all the wonderful partners that Neil just mentioned to make this program possible. So it really does take a village. It does take the kind of teamwork that President Rowe talked about. Otherwise, none of this would happen because no one can do anything in the world alone. You all know that. And this is a perfect example of how good things come out of cooperative activity. But I'm going to make a couple of the same points that you've heard other speakers make, but perhaps put them a little bit more in a foreign policy context. Because what exchange professionals are, and educators are, and exchange participants are, such as yourselves here as the Mandela Washington Fellows, is you are people who, of course, should be congratulated for being Mandela Washington Fellows, but more importantly, I want to recognize the fact that you're the kind of people who became Washington Mandela Fellows, because what it really does is recognize who you already are. It recognizes the talents you already have, the contributions you have already made. So I salute your spirit of intellectual curiosity. I salute your humanity. I salute your spirit of adventure, because here you are. You're not at home. You're not with your family. You're not with your community. You're not with your friends. You're here. And that takes a bit of boldness and a bit of a sense of adventure and a spirit to do that. So I congratulate you on that. And that fits into a long and proud tradition in the world of exchanges, because whenever there is trouble in the world, there are men and women of goodwill who step forward to do something about that. Just very quickly, one of our primary partners in the area of high school youth exchange is an organization called the American Field Service that is over 100 years old. It was developed by Americans who were volunteers in World War I. And it's called the American Field Service because they were volunteers in military field hospitals in France. And they were so appalled by the carnage of World War I that they resolved as individuals to come together and try and do something that would make a difference in the world and perhaps mitigate the possibility of future violence. This pattern continues. World War II gave us the International Visitor Leadership Program and the Fulbright Program. Again, in an effort to try and put together lasting, meaningful institutions that would make a difference over time. And as you've heard referred to a couple of times, between the Fulbright Program and the International Visitor Program, more than 550 of those participants have gone on to become the head of state or government of their own country. So look around, okay? Somebody here, okay? And also more than 80 Nobel laureates. Fast forwarding to more recent times, after the attacks on 9/11, which Neil mentioned, the Bureau of Educational and Cultural Affairs leadership got together and tried to decide what could the Bureau do to try and make a difference. Because our motto is mutual understanding. And clearly 9/11, amongst all the other things it was a colossal failure of mutual understanding. So what we put together was the first US government program of high school exchanges for the Arab and Muslim world. It's now been in existence for 15 years. It's had more than 10,000 participants. It is now well funded by Congress and is a permanent contribution to try and make a closer, better, safer world. And so you fit into this context because all of these challenges need not be armed conflict. This doesn't have to be about war or violence. The challenge can be poverty. The challenge can be hunger. The challenge can be pandemic disease. It can simply be inequality of one kind or another. And when those challenges appear, men and women such as yourselves, with goodwill, with firm resolve, with no illusions, but with great aspirations, knowing it's hard work but needs to be done, you step up and you step forward to tackle these problems. And so I just want to say very briefly, from the Department of State point of view, We are honored to be associated with you. Thank you.